Thought you might find this video useful a few days before you have to submit your eTMA. Of course, I will discuss it at the tutorial, and if you've got any questions, send them to me by email and we can discuss it at the tutorial. A few general marks on eTMAs, and not so much the style I like, but what we are expecting of you in W201. The first thing that we're expecting of you is that you fully prepare. I'm going to be making the assumption when I'm marking those essays that you've read everything in the manual or textbooks, that you've had a look at the leading cases in a particular area. I'm certainly one to encourage you to read around, and there's certainly a lot happening at the moment, and I think you've seen from blogs that I've done on Washminster or other videos, there are lots of current affairs that you can be bringing in to illustrate. But everything that you need for that essay will be found in what the Open University has provided for you. Read around, but don't over-prepare. What I mean by that is sometimes, particularly in a subject like constitutional law, you might feel, well, I've got this textbook, let's go out and buy Dicey and see what he has to say about it. Let's have a look at other textbooks that are on the market. Now, they have their uses, but they can also be a great distraction, and there can be a temptation to spend lots of time preparing. You can lose sight of the key points that way, but also you can put off actually writing the essay. So get clear in your own mind what the key points are, use your textbooks, use any additional examples that you can use to do it, but don't go spending lots of extra hours for, in effect, a couple of extra marks. The word limit, it's very strict. You need to state it, and you need to state it honestly. I know traditionally that it's been taught that you start with an introduction saying what you're going to say, then the main body where you say it, and then the conclusion where you say what you've just said. With the word limits that we have on these essays, those are luxuries you can't afford. You need to think with every sentence you write, how does this move me towards the answer that I will be crediting you marks for? And a nice introduction which merely says what you're going to be saying later really is a luxury that can't be afforded. On the essay itself, the two issues that you need to read around are, what do we mean by the term Constitution? I have in this room a number of copies of the American Constitution. They're nice and small and usable, and if you go onto the internet, you can read all the constitutions in the world, should you so wish. But that's in the narrow sense. In the British sense, we still have a constitution, it's just that it's not in one place, not in one single document. So I'm looking for, in this essay, your definition of what a constitution is, what its purpose is, and the sort of things that you would expect to find in a constitution. Now, as I say, with the British context, we don't have a single document, but what are the sort of rules that we would describe as constitutional? And of course, in answering that, you're going to talk about what the institutions of state are, how they are filled, what the process for election to Parliament is, how the monarch is chosen, and just as importantly, how do you get rid of them? What happens if there has been misbehaviour? And you can consider that, and again, I think there's lots of material currently available on that. The other thing that you need to look at is the different sources, and I'm sure that everybody's going to mention statutes and cases, but you need to talk about conventions, you need to talk about some of the other rules, like the standing orders of the House of Commons and the House of Lords. So read around that subject, describe, and again, the best essays will actually give some examples of sources of the Constitution. Well, I hope that's been useful, and I look forward to seeing you at the tutorial.